Hey guys, this is Grant Evans, your favorite Utah realtor, and today we're going to be talking about the things you wish you knew before moving to Utah. If this is your first time to the channel, remember to hit that subscribe and like button to be kept up to date on all things Utah real estate. And follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Homes with Grant Evans. I think there are a few no-brainers that people kind of understand when moving to Utah. They know that the national parks are beautiful, that Mormonism is pretty prominent, it snows, the Sundance Film Festival, there are great outdoor activities, and that Salt Lake City is the capital. But what are the things that people don't talk about or the secrets about Utah? The first thing you wish you knew was how taxes were structured. Utah has all of these taxes and fees, and to be honest, I'm not sure if it's more or less than other states, but to give you an idea, income tax in Utah is a flat rate income tax of 4.85%, and Utah also has a 4.85% corporate income tax. Utah is also one state that taxes Social Security benefits. Withdrawal from retirement accounts are fully taxed too. Utah is not the least retirement tax-friendly state, but it's not the most retirement tax-friendly state either. If you're a fan of flat taxes, you'll be right at home. But if you're thinking of moving to Utah from a state with no income tax, you're in for a change. Property taxes in Utah, however, are on the low side. While sales tax is about the US average, Utah has no estate tax, and there are not additional taxes when you have to sell your home either, no transfer taxes either. The second thing is to know that Utah is a desert. One of the arguments that always comes up among developing communities is that there is no water to share in Utah. That's a half-truth. An article posted in August of 2022 states, quote, according to Utah State University, agriculture uses more than 85% of the state's water supply. It also accounts for roughly $1.8 billion worth of Utah's revenue. The amount of water that is used for consumption is about 4% of total water share. Earlier this year, us realtors had a housing summit to talk about the Utah housing market and the future, and we were encouraged to support development in our communities. While agriculture is definitely important in the state and is tied to the state's heritage, the argument that there is no water is kind of redundant. Also, since Utah is a desert, the climate is very dry. The first things you'll notice is that your body will take a little bit of time to get used to. For example, your boogers will get very hard, your lips will chap, and your nose might start to bleed, but that also might be due to the altitude. The third thing you'll want to know is that there are earthquakes in Utah. This one might be a common sense one since we are surrounded by mountains, but they do happen. It is pretty rare for an earthquake to cause damage to homes, but in 2020, an earthquake happened in West Salt Lake area and did cause damage to some old buildings made out of concrete. Since Utah has earthquakes, it's only natural for Utah to also have fault lines. The biggest fault line is called the Wasatch Fault Line, and it sits on the western side of the Big Wasatch Mountains and ranges from Malad City, Idaho, all the way down to Fayette, Utah in the middle of the state. An article written in 2021 by Envision Utah, a nonprofit organization that helps Utahns plan for the future, states, and I quote, Utah is due for a big earthquake. The Wasatch Fault has a 43% chance of experiencing a 6.75 or greater magnitude earthquake in the next 50 years. Experts project that such an event would be among the deadliest disasters in our nation's history, close quote. To give some perspective, the 1906 San Francisco earthquake was estimated to be about 7.9 magnitude. Now, I'm not saying this to have you live in fear by being in Utah, it's just to be aware. Just like every other state, Utah has its things too. The fourth thing you'll want to know is the pollution, or what we like to call the inversion. I've mentioned this in my other videos, but even though Utah has mountains, it doesn't necessarily mean it's fresh mountain air all the time. In the winter, smog settles in the valleys until a storm comes in to wash it away. In the summer, there are wildfires, and if we get the large ones from California, their smoke will travel to us. PurpleAir.com is the most accurate website to use for anyone who has respiratory issues. But if you go into the canyons and go into a higher elevation like Park City or Heber, or what we like to call the Wasatch Back, you'll get that fresh mountain air. The last thing you'll want to know is that there are a ton of families here. About 36% of households have children in them. The second highest state, Texas at 31.5%, and Texas is a way bigger state. In almost every city, you'll see a family walking down the street with a double stroller with an infant on one seat and a toddler on the other. There are a ton of family activities to do, like parks, libraries, fun shops, malls, you name it. They aren't always free, well, except for like the public parks and libraries, but if you're looking to be closer to people with kids, Utah is definitely the right state for you. Now, I don't say this to push down on Utah or anything like that. I already have another video called The Reasons Why You Shouldn't Move to Utah, but I love Utah. But these are some of the things that people wish they knew before they moved to Utah. Remember to subscribe to my channel and press that like button for more Utah real estate content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.